after to be clean and dry.
She was also often left in this position, her head hanging low, neck unsupported.
Just on a dining chair, sort of more or less either with her head on the table or more or less just folded in half.
There were two carers walking in and out, looking at her like that. But they just didn't seem to, they weren't bothered at all.
Rita also had a number of unwitnessed falls, resulting in these injuries and adding to her daughter's concerns for her well-being. Rita was staying at Abbey Grange Care Home in Sheffield. The Care Quality Commission inspected the home on 20th July 2022 in response to specific concerns raised to them. Country Court, the company that runs the home, decided not to comment on all the allegations in this report. After this inspection, the home remained rated good overall, with the CQC concluding staff there understood how to protect people from harm.
We noticed when we went to visit, he was always in dirty clothes.
Another family who had loved ones at the same home between 2022 and 2023, with their own allegations of how his care was neglected.
We started to notice that the poo was dried on. So when we tried to clean my dad, it was hurting him. He was in pain. And we had trouble wiping the poo away because it was that dried on. He must have been sat in that for a long time for it to get like that. Why is he sat like this? This can't be normal. This can't be right.
This family feels staff at the home were poorly equipped to deal with the needs of the people they were looking after.
I feel that they're not trained enough how to deal with dementia, how to talk to them, how to reassure them, how to make their life a little bit better.
They also say he had frequent falls, some of which they wouldn't be told about.
Some that they used to contact us about, but a lot they didn't.
And it would literally be the next time we visited him, noticing that he's got a bruise or a gash on his head or something like that.
And he used to say, I'm trapped here. I'm trapped. I do believe if we'd have got him out of there into probably the one that he passed away at, he'd have had more happier days. And maybe he would have lived a bit longer. We'd have had him a bit longer.
Those issues go beyond just this home. Sky News has found that there is no mandatory dementia training for people applying to work in care homes. We put this to the Alzheimer's Society, who told us thousands of people are being let down by a system that needs better investment. They told us dementia is the UK's biggest killer. There are 900,000 people living with dementia in the UK, and although the majority of people who draw on adult social care have dementia, the social care system is not currently set up to properly meet their needs. Care staff need training that enables them to understand the challenges people with dementia can face and to learn skills that can support effective communication. We've also spoken to one person who between 2022 and 2023 worked at Abbey Grange. They also believe so many of the alleged issues at the home stem from poor training.
And it's only because you'd watch other staff and you'd pick it up that way. You don't have no moving and handling experience. There's certain ways you can pick them up, lift them and help them and stuff, support them. You don't get that. So if I'd have gone in and just basically rolled a lady over who'd got fragile skin, I could have tore her skin. If I'd gone and tried to help a lady out of bed and she'd fallen, that would be my fault because I've not done moving and handling, but they'd make me do it.
This ex-member of staff also says hygiene was an issue at Abbey Grange, sometimes with severe consequences, alleging one resident died after an open wound became infected.
So I'd put down that this lady had got this bed sore and it was non-blanching.
What does that mean?
That means there's no blood supply going to it. It's dying off. But because I wasn't there with her for the next 4 or 5 shifts, when I went back to this bed sore, it broke open. They were telling seniors and nurses, make sure this happens and that happens, but they weren't relaying it to us. But then we won't see this lady for 4 or 5 shifts, so there's no continuity there. And that sore, it just got bigger and bigger. And it got as though you walked onto the unit and the first thing you could smell was this lady's leg.
We've been speaking to the Department of Health and Social Care about the issues we've uncovered.
Make sure this happens and that happens.
All dementia
They
care
weren't relaying
staff
it
should
to
be
us.
receiving training.
But then we
the
won't see this
government
lady
has
for 4 or
delivered in
5
collaboration
shifts.
with the
There's
care
no
sector.
continuity there.
The department
And that
also
sore
said
just got
that
bigger and
all
bigger.
care providers
And it got
should
as
be
though
carrying out
you
checks on
walked
the
onto the
competence
unit and
and
the first thing
skill
you
of their
could
staff.
smell was this lady's leg.
We've been speaking to the Department of Health and Social Care about November of last year. Rita moved into a new home where she celebrated her 77th birthday.
Then we won't see this
Her family say she's healthier and happier, but they are still angry at her home and the system, which they believe cost her 18 months of her life. Shingi Marike, Sky News.
You are watching Sky News today. Lots more still to come this hour. Hooded gunmen bursting into a live TV set in Ecuador. Extraordinary pictures, extraordinary story. We'll have it for you. We'll look ahead to the first PMQs of 2024. Rishi Sunak preparing for this big general election year. We're looking forward to that. And the world's first pothole repair robot gets on the road in Hertfordshire, and my producer in particular loves this story. Will you too? Will I? I'm not sure yet. We'll have it for you.
Breakfast is becoming even brighter here on Sky News. There's a new studio, a new start time of 6 a.m. and some new faces.
Okay, yes, we'll bring you all the top stories from around the globe.
And here in Westminster as we count down to an election.
Plus a look ahead to the stories that will be making headlines on Sky News throughout the day.
That's your
Finding
new
a
look
partner who
breakfast
shares your
show,
faith can be
weekdays,
hard as a
6
single
to 10 a.m.
Christian.
here.
Maybe
on
you've
Sky
tried to
News.
meet someone at church, work, or on.
I'm Martha Kellner and I'm Sky's US correspondent based here in Los Angeles.
It's turning everybody into, a crazy, violent drug addict.
How are you feeling?
I am angry.
It is an anti-woman agenda.
2 women say that you paid for their abortions. Are you a hypocrite, sir? Will your candidates win?
I hope so. I think they will. I think they're great candidates.
I gotta be realistic. My sister's dead.
More than 4 weeks on, there's no murder weapon and no suspect. Are you going to catch this killer?
We are doing everything we can.
Ghislaine Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to all 6 charges against her. Mum, how are you feeling today?
Jeffrey said, you answer to Ghislaine, you just don't cross her.
We're so excited.
Severe nightmares of these people coming in and just taking me in the middle of the night.
I've watched as whole towns were torn apart by natural disaster.
I'm alive and I'm thankful for that, but there are a lot of people who aren't.
It's not the winds people fear most here, it's the water. We take you to the heart of the stories which shape our world. Do you truly believe what you're saying? I've watched as whole towns were torn apart by natural disaster.
I'm alive and I'm thankful for that, but there are a lot of people who aren't.
It's not the winds people fear most here, it's the water. We take you to the heart of the stories which shape our world. Do you truly believe what you're saying? I've watched as whole towns were torn apart by natural disaster.
I'm alive and I'm thankful for that, but there are a lot of people who aren't.
It's not the winds people fear most here, it's the water. We take you to the heart of the stories which shape our world.
Talk about masked gunmen had stormed the set of a live TV program in Ecuador, claiming they had bombs and forcing staff to lie down on the floor. Follows a decision by the president to declare a state of emergency after the country's most notorious.
We take you to the heart of the stories which shape our world.
Talk about masked gunmen had stormed the set of a live TV program in Ecuador, claiming they had bombs and forcing staff to lie down on the floor. Follows a decision by the had stormed the set of a live TV program in Ecuador, claiming they had bombs and forcing staff to lie down on the floor. Follows a decision. Had stormed the set of a live TV program in Ecuador, claiming they had bombs and forcing staff to lie down on the floor. Follows a decision. Had
arrested. But with violent incidents plaguing this country and a gang boss still at large, it is a grave situation. Martha Kellner, Sky News.
Now, could AI help bring an end to potholes? Well, this robot is being tested in Hertfordshire, where developers hope it will identify the problem holes and fill them in. It's bigger than I was expecting. Anyway, there we go. It's the first robot of its kind in the world, and now it's ready for a real-life road repair. If successful, it won't be short of work. The UK is estimated to have more than 2 million potholes. Well, at that pace, it might take a while to get to all of them, but I hope it works. Good luck to this little pothole robot. There we go. Time for a good look at the weather.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The next few days look mostly quiet and cold, with a stiff breeze bringing a significant wind chill to many. It'll be cold today with a raw wind over central and southern parts. But the north won't be quite as cold as recently.
All over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prum Prum Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Around the world.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show. and the morning show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands.
Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Wednesday edition of the morning show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my team. Mr. Laimi Koiki, he's not going to be with us, but he's provided with us with all the stories that we need to look at this morning. We are trying to turn some few things around, so you'll be hearing from him or be seeing him on the program pretty soon. But whatever it is in the morning, at the moment, it looks like he's not going to be with us, but we are working on something for that issue. So, let me say good morning to you, Yomi. Let's say good morning to Mr. Francis Guy as well. Francis, I hope you are doing very, very well. To Anton Adidaji Aziz, good morning. Olakule, massive good morning to you. Shamsuddin, good morning. Aziz, good morning. My Bishop Adeshina, massive good morning to you as well. Pastor Mo, good morning. And then Pastor Emmanuel Chidi and all you wonderful people, Rachel, wherever you are, massive good morning to you this morning. I hope you are doing very, very well. Whatever time of the day you just seen all the way in Moscow. I salute you, my brother. I hope you are all doing good. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my brother, please. Coach D, Mr. John Chabiri, and all you wonderful people and all presenters of Starr Radio UK. I salute each and every one of you. Once again, it is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, and we are going to be flying like no man's business. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. That'll be a nice present to me. Once again, welcome on board. But let me also take this opportunity to say there will be new programs that's going to be introduced to Starr Radio UK pretty soon, and we're going to be announcing them to you as well. But for now, we're going to be crossing over straight to the program that is making the rounds this morning. How the program is going to be going, or the news that is making the rounds that on Global Crossing. But before then, let me tell you how the program will go. If it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow through, then the travel update as well. We then move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Crossing. And then at exactly 11 o'clock, I'll be bringing you all the details of the stories that is making the rounds from Nigeria, from across the world to other parts of Africa, and then to the UK. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So the quote for the it says a great and successful leader needs to love and respect people. A great and a successful leader needs to love and respect people. How true is that? Maybe you know better than I do. Share with your friends and loved ones. Let me know your take even on the code for the day, right? Kofi Ali Abdul Kid, massive good morning to you.
That's why forever call you great, great are you, Lord.
Okay, let me move on straight to the weather front as well. Well, it is quite cold here. When I was leaving home, it was about -1, but now I think getting into the studio, it was about 3 degrees. But when it comes to London and the sides of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. This afternoon will be dry with some long spells of wintry sunshine. Though a few areas of cloud may move through at times, actually northeasterly wind is expected. Tonight we'll see largely clear skies and dry conditions, though patchy areas of cloud may edge in from the north by dawn. Another chilly and breezy night expected as well. Temperature set going to be 6 degrees, the lowest going to be -1, and the UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 16:13 and sunrise tomorrow morning 08:03 hours. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Let me take you straight to the travels as well.
Till the end.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so on your travels as well here in the UK, well, for London, on the underground this morning, Central Line has got severe delays, Elizabeth Lines minor delays, Jubilee Line minor delays. All the other underground lines are running a good service. London Tramlink minor delays, DLR and London Overground are running a good service there. I'm moving in straight to the major roads in London. Apart from A10 that's got serious delays, all the others have got no exceptional delays there. Now on the river this morning, I can tell you surely there's good service running throughout. And then on the London cable car, good service there as well.
Holy, holy, God.
So on the National Rail this morning, Avanti West Coast has got severe delays, cross country severe delays, East Midlands Railway minor delays, West Transcontinental Express severe delays, Grand Central severe delays, Island Line special service, London North Eastern Railway severe delays, Lumo severe delays, Scott Rail minor delays, and Thames Link minor delays. And that is where we bring the update to a close for today. So as I was saying all the time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your company for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the road.
I worship you.
Hey, Charlie, you on your way to Ghana? Oh boy, you stress out. Charlie, boy, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. So for those of you traveling to Ghana, where you want to have a good time there, and as I did say, as we did announce, you want all these spa at your doorstep. Well, we've got JN Mobile Spa for you. It's an organic care one. They deal with in massage, distress, rejuvenating, sensual healing therapy. When it comes to facials, exfoliating, firming, and lifting. Well, as we did say, if you want any further information, contact them on 0244 941 002 or 0206 06386. Or you can, if you want to write a letter to them. I don't know currently what I would say write a letter as well. It's P.O. Box 6152 Cantonment. P.O. Box 6152 Cantonment. Your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. JN Mobile Spa. Okay, now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds this morning. That is Global Trotting with the time now at 10:54. Okay, so on the stories making the rounds this morning here in the UK, starting from here, plan for post office victims very close, says minister as victims speak to the BBC. Post office minister Kevin Hollenreck says the government believes it has a solution. What solution is it? Well, some people have lost their lives in the wake of all that, but how would all that pan out for them? And the racism affected our treatment in Horizon scandal. The workers say they believe racism affected the way people were treated in the Horizon scandal. Someone will say, well, that might not be true because there were Caucasians who also faced that same thing. It's not only Asians. And I mean, so what do you think? Okay, US and UK repair largest Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. Jets and warships shot down 21 drones and missiles launched at shipping by the Yemen-based rebels. Those are some of the stories making the rounds. Half of those accused of child abuse are teenagers. Young people are unaware. Taking and sharing nude pictures of someone under 18 is a crime, the police have said. So long young people are being caught up in there. But why would you take a picture of yourself? Or, well, again, they're taking a picture of you and spreading it or sharing it online like that. Well, you want to know more going to be coming your way. Murder investigation lands after a man was shot. The police remain at the scene of an attack which happened in West Belfast on Tuesday night. Stephen Fry wants Kingsguard to ditch Bear Fair. Why? It's a peculiar one. So, you come to London. Now, it's one of the things that when you want to show pictures of London, you show the police with their Bear Fair. And that is good. Or is it against what do they call them? I think I like it. It makes them peculiar. Well, we have the Russians who have got the affair, the other one. And so, yeah, it's a good one there, isn't it? Okay, maybe Stockholm. More people may harm themselves. The roommate of an asylum seeker who died on the barge says conditions on board are getting worse. More stories going to be coming away from the UK front. So let's move on from there. And then Ecuador. Well, yesterday I did talk about that, but it ricocheted to the highest point. Ecuador declares war on gangs after TV attack. Now, marksmen threaten journalists in a room. In a newsroom as the government moves against crime groups. Those are some of the stories making the rounds there. And fifth and final batch of Epstein documents released. These files show Epstein refusing hundreds of times to answer questions, including about alleged blackmail. And TV and film actor Adan Canto dies of cancer at age 42. What is all this life about? And China tells the US it will never compromise on Taiwan. So the US and China have held their first talks since 2021, days before a crucial election in Taiwan. And China is saying, we will not compromise. Taiwan is ours. We're going to be taking it by hook or crook. Now, is it up to the Taiwanese to decide whether they want to belong to the mainland China, or it's up to the Chinese to say, no, you once belonged to us and we want you back? Well, the West has got interest in Taiwan, but how will it all pan out? So can we say that, well, the Falkland Islands, the Argentines can say, well, the Falkland Islands are ours and we want it back. And everybody will now. So at what point do we say, okay, hey, seize it. Now, wherever everybody was initially, maybe come this date, whether it's backdated or whatever, it's the right place. So you got to be there and nobody will come after you or try to say that the place belongs to them. What do you think about all that? More going to be coming your way. U.S. Defense Secretary kept cancer diagnosis secret. It's one of the stories making the rounds there as well. And U.S. moon mission has no chance of soft lunar London. And Polish police arrest MPs in presidential palace. Those are some of the stories making the rounds this morning. We're going to be looking more into that. Okay. Now, moving on from there, let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. In Nigeria, Tinubu slashes travel convoy expenditure by 60%. Wow. Applaud, say, well done to him. I think he is putting his money where his mouth is. So, bring it on. What kind of political harlotry were you exhibiting by jumping from one party to another? Labour Party knocks Ogupe. An alleged threat. Lagos police looking into Tiwa Savage's petition against Davido PPRO. And no hiding place for the corrupt in Nigeria. EFCC assured and seeks collaboration with the ICPC. Chaos charges that COAS charges troops on loyalty, commitment to duty, and degree mails. Federal government sets up panel to probe private foreign varsities. Well, so I think that is the way forward. They probe them to see whether they are doing things according to the book or they are doing something. They have some underhand dealings going on there. Nigerian Customs partners with AFC FTA to enhance trade, and 6 brilliant indigent students received UI ASU scholarship. And Tinubu mourns Baba Adini of Lagos, Sheikh Abdul Hafiz Abu. Okay, we're going to tell you more about all that. Nigeria company producing Bonvita makes decision on 7.7 million debt after 10 billion loss. Wow. Okay. Starr Radio UK in other parts of Africa as well. DR Congo Constitutional Court confirms Felix Tshisekedi victory in presidential polls. Well, we had all the opposition but one parties and their leaders not actually petitioning or sending anything to the Supreme Court, but there was only one person who sent it in. One party, I think I've forgotten the name of the individual. However, well, I don't think it garnered the person any support from the judiciary, and therefore he found out that, well, Felix Tshisekedi is now the president. It constitutionally has been approved by the Constitutional Court that he is the victor in the presidential poll. And then in other stories, Tunisia group accuses authorities of mass expulsion of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa. And 5 countries support South Africa's genocide against Israel. Which countries are those? And Benin, a book fair, offers another look at African history. Well, we have our own history, but it looks like some people are telling it the way they think has to be told. This is a case where we talk about Mangu Park, who discovered the river Nile, Niger, and a few other things. And you ask yourself, when they came, were people not there? There were people there. There were people who were using it to farm. There were people who were using it to do whatever things. Living by that. So how do you say you discovered it? Did you? Well. And then some other stories. Orphans, street children get free food, clothes from Hill Net. A good one there, but is it just a one-off? Okay, Cecilia Dapa injunction, Kise Japan, Jabin storms court for the first time. And defamation case, court grants Baka Vamawo 1 more week to file his defense. Well, has he got any defense to file at all? Attention committee, leak tip. Attention committee chairs IGP indicts 3 senior police officers. Well. That is a big one coming from there. And the Kufuor's silence on 2020 elections, that's unfortunate. A political analyst is saying. So we're going to be telling you more about all that in a moment. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories making the rounds as well. Ghanaians have already abandoned you. Start preparing to hand over NDC to MPP. Well, when it comes to politics, somebody say when it comes to African politics, that is a different ballgame. But when it comes to this part of the world, politics, well, a week is a long time for things to change. But well, that's what the NDC is saying to the NPP. But what do you think about all that? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. This is Star Radio UK, and this is the Wednesday edition of the morning show. The program finishes exactly at 12 o'clock. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Let's go. But that will be after this quick or short commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 7 minutes past the top of the hour. It is a Wednesday edition of the morning show. So, as we say, default position, press with time. So, we're just cracking on. I'll be bringing you music during the tail end of the program. However, we will be able to take you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time. As I said earlier on, Yomi is not going to be with us. He has some engagement for the next few days, so we're trying to see how we can balance it up nicely. But you bear with me. I don't know whether tonight he'll be able to bring you the Niger voices, but just bear with us as we work around things to make sure that we get him on, line things up nicely so we can get him on the show as well. Okay, so wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so let's move on now. Let's move on. Well, so when it comes to the stories, let's start from Nigeria, as we normally do, at 8 minutes past 11. Tinubu. I think they said there's a new sheriff in town, and I think the new sheriff some way, somehow, seem to be doing very well. I don't know what you think about it, but it looks like I think he's cracking the whip and doing things that needs to be done. And I hope, and I really hope, yes, that things will turn around for the country pretty soon, some way, somehow. I don't know, but maybe you think otherwise, but let us know why you think otherwise there. But let's move on. Okay, so the first story that I'm bringing your way from the presidency. President Bola Tinubu has implemented a significant 60% reduction in the travel expenditure of government officials within his administration. As confirmed by presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale during an address to State House correspondents at the presidential villa in Abuja on Tuesday. Ngelale explained that this decision forms part of the presidency's cost-cutting measures aimed at streamlining expenditure. He emphasized that the directive will impact the travel budget of the president, vice president, first lady, ministers, and heads of various government agencies. And somebody will say, that's a good one. What about that? Now, stating this reduction is not merely a request, but a firm directive. Ngelale highlighted that all state entourages are to be notably curtailed. He underlined that the offices of the president, vice president, and their respective appointees will all be subject to this directive. Tinubu has directed that all state entourages be drastically reduced. This is not a request, it is a directive. The office of the president and staff will be affected. Vice president appointees are affected too. By this directive, there will be a slashing of expenditure on official travel by 60%, he said. As a result, President Bola Tinubu has imposed specific limitation on the number of accompanying staff for official travels outside Nigeria. And that is what I want to see across Africa, especially in the sub-Saharan region. Oh boy, Ghana? Aha! Now, according to President spokesman Ajuri Ngelale, the president will now be accompanied by a maximum of 20 staff members during international trips. Moreover, each minister has been instructed to restrict their entourage to only 4 staff members when embarking on foreign journeys, while heads of government agencies are now limited to a maximum of 2 accompanying personnel. Ngelale also revealed that Tinubu has abolished the practice of extensive security delegation when visiting states within the country. The president has directed that in the event of his visit to any state, the local security apparatus will be solely responsible for his security. This directive similarly applies to the vice president and other high-ranking government officials. And I say applause. That is a good work done. That is something good. I admire him for doing that. Because we see envoy, we see, the convoy. When it comes to the president traveling or when they are going outside the country for event, oh my goodness. But well, at least he's made a move. Let's see what the others do as well. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, LP has knocked Okupe. Now, sorry says Okupe had resigned from the Labour Party, citing ideological differences as his reason for leaving the party. Speaking on Okupe's exit via a statement in Abuja on Tuesday, the Labour Party's National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, described Okupe as a political opportunist. He noted that ordinarily, the party wouldn't have responded to him. But because of the media attraction it has been generating since yesterday, they had to speak up. Ifo noted that a response would not have been necessary if Okupe had not tried to soil the party's image while leaving the party. So if you want to leave in peace. Don't go muddling the water and saying everybody is sort of you got my drift? Okay. So the Labour Party spokesman read in part in the letter said it had been addressed to our national chairman, Barrister Julius Abore, which is yet to be received. Okupe cited ideological conflict as the reason he left PDP. He also addressed Labour Party's pejoratively as a special purpose vehicle. Now, this response wouldn't have been necessary if Okupe had left quietly or perhaps claimed personal reasons for his actions, but by way of him demeaning a party believed to have won majority of votes by Nigerians, but was denied victory by the Nigerian system, was a mischief carried too far. Okupe is aware that the Labour Party is ideologically rooted in the left of the center, and he admitted that he has been a rightist and a liberal Democrat all his entire life. One wonders what he was working or looking for in a party that is opposed to his ideological leaning. So the question once again is, when it comes to politics in Africa, is it a politics of the stomach? So people come in because of their own benefits, not because of ideology. No. So you find out that people who belong to an ideology, well, because of opportunity, or they see that, well, this is something that if I join in, it will give me whatever I want, then they just hop in or hop on, not actually looking at their ideology. So Okupe, the Labour Party has actually said that what is done is harlotry, prostituting. Well. But interestingly, the question is, when it comes to African politics, do we actually have ideologies that people stand by? Or we just make it as we go? So PDP has the same ideology as APC, and so they can say, oh, center left, center right, and well. Let's see. But let's move on to some other stories making the rounds from Nigeria this morning. And Lagos police looking into Tiwa Savage's petition against Davido. The police is looking into a petition by Nigerian singer and songwriter Tiwa Savage over alleged bullying and threat to her life by Grammy nominee David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido. Information coming through saying they can confirm received the petition and we began investigation. We hope that they find peace in the midst of all that. But we have to bring that your way because we know our listeners love those artists as well. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, says no Nigerian is immune to investigation for corruption allegations, warning that there will be no hiding place for the corrupt in the country, given the political will of President Bola Tinubu to frontally tackle economic and financial crimes and other acts of corruption. I think they are saying this in line with the accusation by various industrialists in the country, saying that wow, the way the Ramboli invaded Dangote's firm. Some people saying that was going to tarnish his international image, and they thought if you needed something, just tell them we need this, and then they should. But the way they moved their troops in as if they were hoarding something there was quite. But they're saying that, well, we don't give a hoot. The chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukayode, gave the assurance in Abuja on Tuesday, January 9, when the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, paid him a courtesy visit at the corporate headquarters of the commission. According to him, President Tinubu is offering the right atmosphere for anti-graft activities, both for the EFCC and ICPC, and no Nigerian is immune to investigations for any corrupt allegations. I think That is a good move. No one is above the law. So if somebody is breaking the law or is found to be having some underhand dealings and stuff like that, I think it is a fair thing to say that the government has to come after them. Now we believe that the kind of president we have, who is ready and willing to do the right thing, and from what we have seen in recent times and the last 48 hours, it is clear that he has provided the political will and leadership and created the atmosphere for us to work. So there is no hiding place for the corrupt. We must give our best. We must be committed and give the president the right support he needs. Nobody is too big to be investigated in this country. Once you are not playing according to the rules, we will investigate you, he said. Olakayode noted that the engagement with the ICPC was sending the right signals to the entire country that the anti-graft corruption agencies are coming together and extending hands of comrades and fellowship to each other with a mind to work together. The EFCC boss, who recalled that there was a subsisting memorandum of understanding between both agencies, said today the MOU is in place. It is going to be a living document that we can review from time to time to accommodate mutual interest. Well, that's a good one. I mean, if they're saying so, especially looking at what has happened just a couple of days ago, last week, when a minister was alleged, Betty Edu, was alleged to have made some transfers into some private account or personal account, let me put it that way, and the swift action by the presidency to actually get him out of there, I think it's something worth waiting or working on or holding on to. That is something that is good for the country. Now, the opposition Young Progressive Party has threatened to shut down Abuja, the federal capital city, if the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, is not suspended from office over his alleged role in the alleged theft of monies meant for vulnerable Nigerians. Whilst the presidency is cracking the whip, and we have individuals or groups as well also pushing or putting the fire and like now the YPP, as National Chairman Comrade Emmanuel Bishop Amakiri, in an open letter to President Bola Tinubu, cited abuse of office as a reason for its stance against Tunji Ojo. Now, calling for immediate action on the minister in line with laid down rules and regulations, the party also threatened to mobilize for mass action in the United States of America, the United Kingdom, where it's boasted of large followership. Now, justifying the position, the party noted, we have gathered evidence that a company owned by Minister Tunji Ojo, New Planet Projects Limited, was paid a total of 438 million naira by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation under the leadership of Dr. Betta Edu for consultancy services. So what consultancy services did they provide for that ministry? And again, somebody can provide anything, but is it worth the money? Are we getting value for money? Or is it one of those things, you scratch my back, I scratch your back? Is that what has gone on? And with the president hearken to this call by this group, or will it fall on deaf ears? Those are some of the stories making the rounds this morning from Nigeria. And so, as I did say, okay, let's bring you this one of the other stories that has just come in. And it says, well, 20 people have died. And how many? Just bear with me. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja has confirmed the arrest of a soldier who criticized Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State in a viral video. Sanwo-Olu had on January 2 ordered the arrest of soldier and some Okada riders for driving against the traffic on the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The governor gave the order while returning from Lagos State University, Ojo, where he had gone to inaugurate a project sponsored by Femi Gbajabiamila, Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu. Reacting to the governor's action, the soldier in a widely shared video on Thursday criticized Sanwo-Olu for labeling a soldier useless in front of bastard civilians. Speaking on Tuesday, the Commission of an Officers Mess in Enugu State, Lagbaja condemned the soldier who was caught by Governor Sanwo-Olu driving against traffic one way, saying his conduct did not represent the entire Nigerian army. The army chief noted that many viral videos showing soldiers criticizing the Lagos State governor were fake, clarifying that only one authentic video was investigated and the soldier involved has been apprehended. Well. Was a soldier pursuing some criminals and therefore driving in the opposite direction? Or what? Well. This is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria, and that is where we bring the updates from Nigeria to a close. Now, let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds this morning. Five countries support South Africa's genocide case against Israel. The International Court of Justice is scheduled to commence the hearing of the case in which South Africa accuses Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. But the countries, because I want to bring those countries your way. Currently, 5 countries, among which the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, along with Jordan, Turkey, and Malaysia, have openly expressed their support for the case, while only Israel and the United States have opposed it. South Africa filed a complaint at the end of December, alleging that Israel committed genocide during Gaza's conflict. The complaint advocates for an end to the severe military campaign, which has resulted in the deaths of over 23,000 people. Well, South Africa trying to take the helm of affairs and trying to call the shots. So let's see what is going to go on. Now, the Constitution Court in the Democratic Republic of Congo has confirmed President Felix Tshisekedi's landslide victory for a second term in office. The Central African nations held presidential election. In its ruling on Tuesday, the court also rejected an appeal by a candidate who came in last to annul the result. The court called the petition by Theodore Ngoy to redo the vote unfounded. The 9 opposition candidates had signed a declaration in late December rejecting the result of the election and describing the election as a sham. The quadruple ballot had more than 40% turnout, with some 18 million people voting. The final figures announced by the court on Tuesday differed only slightly from provisional results that election officials had already made public. Incumbent Felix Tshisekedi got 73.47%. He will be sworn in at the end of January. Was it a free and a fair election, or did we once again use our ways and means to actually outwit our neighbors? Where incumbent is definitely the one who is set to be winning an election. Now, Tunisia group has accused authorities of mass expulsion of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa. Migrants activists are sounding the alarm this week about mass expulsion and arbitrary arrests in Tunisia, where authorities are seeing more migrants arrive for attempted Mediterranean crossing from the North African nation to Europe. The Tunisian Forum for Economic and Social Rights on Monday accused the government of waging a campaign of repression against migrants at the expense of humanitarian concerns to satisfy European blackmail and ensure a steady stream of financial and logistical support. It said in a statement that witness accounts indicates the situation had become particularly dire around Tunisia borders with Libya and Algeria, as well as around the country's second most populous city, Sfax, a common stopover point for migrants aiming to cross the Mediterranean. The non-governmental organization said that migrants in Sfax, which is 117 miles from the Italian island of Lampedusa, regularly experience arbitrary arrests and violence many have their property destroyed. Such treatment hasn't been limited to migrants who enter Tunisia without authorization and extended to refugees, students, and workers, the group said. It said it had received frequent reports of mass expulsion across the Algerian and Libyan borders in Algeria that has included migrants being deported into the desert regardless of weather conditions. In war-torn Libya, deportation often leads to migrants ending up in detention centers run by armed groups. Now, Tunisia officials have said small groups of migrants have been pushed back across the country's desert borders, but disputed reports of a systemic abuse and expulsions. The Tunisian Forum for Economic and Social Rights implored the government to end the deportation, provide migrants safe haven, and update laws to allow those without papers to obtain some sort of legal status. But the question is, has Tunisia got what it takes to have all those migrants coming in or flooding into that part of the world there? You see, when we have the Western world, let me put it that way, or the developed countries, embarking on some foreign policies. We talked about the Libya crisis when the situation when they went to the UN and were saying that, well, they wanted Gaddafi out and they wanted to strike the country, and the moment it was approved, less than how many minutes, boom, 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 and they went on and Gaddafi was overthrown, and we find Libya now in a serious mess, which has ended up having individuals or people now using it as a corridor to cross over from there to using the Mediterranean, crossing the Mediterranean to Europe. Now, that action that was taken at the time, because they didn't look into it, they didn't look at it thoroughly, is what is causing all this. Because back in the day, I know people who had lived in Libya for what, years, and they can tell you that they didn't want to leave Libya to go to any other country because the work that they were doing was good. They were making money. But it's the case that we threw everything. Oh, yeah. Oh, he did that. Oh, yeah. Sanctions, blah, blah, blah. The next moment, they were there killing him. And look at what has brought about after the demise of Gaddafi. Now, what about other leaders who were forcibly also overthrown? And I say it all the time. If you're a Libyan and you look at the situation that you people are in now, do you think Gaddafi was doing well for you, or you thought he was the evil that he was painted by the advanced countries? Well, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. At 11:32. Renowned Pan-African advocates Professor Pierre Lobumba, Dr. Arikana Chihombor Rikwao, and Peter Obi have united to encourage African youth to persevere in shaping the future of the continent. Scheduled for January 7, the self-funded NGO event, which was abandoned because the venue was actually cancelled and therefore that event couldn't take place. I don't know, I was looking at it as a new update from there, but we'll be telling you more about that, why the government of Ghana decided to actually pull the event after they had approved a place, the Black Star Square, to be used as or for the event. Well, in Cotonou, Obelisk, us Devour stands in Matthew Gardens to salute the memory of Benin's dead. In the past, successive presidents of Benin will lay a wreath on the graves of French soldiers who died in the name of colonization. For Beninese writer Florent Kozo Zotti, it was time for this to change. You can't go there to venerate foreign soldiers who died for the conquest of Dahomey. Like this obelisk, the imposing statue of the Amazon is the pride of the Beninese people. The Amazons inspire courage, bravery, and patriotism in the history of Dahomey. A not to be missed event, the African Heritage History Book Fair introduces the public to the different aspects of history to which these monuments refer. Eskelagbo, director of Benin's Livers, is always delighted to be able to share his knowledge with the public. In a quote, he said, "We ourselves in Africa, in our African countries, don't really know our own histories, even though we have great African authors who have written works on African cultural heritage, who have written works on history, but these works remain in their offices." This third edition of the Uda Book Fair, which is part of the Voden Festival, features conferences, debates, film screenings, and exhibitions and books for discussions and reflection on African history, heritage, and ancestral values. Through these works and objects that the public gets a different view of Africa, far removed from the cliches and narratives left by foreign writers. Here, African researchers and historians specializing in heritage issues place facts in their true context. And I agree with them 101%. This is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Thank you very much to all of you who are still with me there. As I said, I'll be bringing you music at the tail end of the program. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Now, moving on to Ghana. Last year, we had a leak tapes where the former Northern Regional chairman of the MPP, allegedly recorded some people who were pushing for him to actually get a presidency to actually sack the current Inspector General of Police. Now, there were uproars and various groupings and backlashes from all that. However, the case was referred to the special committee in Parliament. So the committee has come out with their report. The parliamentary committee probing the leak tape in which 3 senior police officers were plotting the removal of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Kufu-Dampare, has cleared the IGP of any wrongdoing. In a draft report of the Atecha Committee in possession, the committee recommends that 3 senior officers should be further investigated and possibly prosecuted for perjury. The 3 senior police officers, namely COP Alex Mensah, Superintendent George Lysander Asari, and Superintendent Eric Emmanuel Jebi, involved in the conspiracy to remove the IGP, should be referred for further investigation and possible prosecution for perjury under the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and professional misconduct under the Police Service Act 1970, Act 350, and the Police Service Regulations 2012, CI 76. In order to safeguard the sanctity of the appointment of an IGP and particular shield appointment process from perception of partisanship and political manipulation, there is a need to amend Article 202, subsection 1 of the Constitution 1992, Police Service Act 350, and related legislation or status fundamentally to secure the independence of the office of the IGP. The recommendation read. The committee also found all the allegations made against the IGP to be baseless and unsubstantiated. In view of the issues raised before the committee and resolved by the investigation and evidence uncovered by the committee makes the following recommendations for consideration by Right Honorable Speaker. The 3 senior police officers, namely COP Alex Mensah, Superintendent George Lysander Asare, and Superintendent Eric Emmanuel Jebi, involved in the conspiracy to remove the IGP, should be referred for further investigation and possible prosecution for perjury under the Criminal Offences Act. In order to safeguard the sanctity of the appointment of the IGP, and in particular shield the appointment process from perception of partisanship and political manipulation, there is the need to review or amend Article 202, subsection 1. The office of the IGP shall be on the same terms and condition of a service of a justice of the Court of Appeal, except that the tenure of office shall be non-renewable after the attainment of compulsory retirement of 60 years. Serving or sitting IGP shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior or incompetence, incapacity to perform the functions of the office by reason of infirmity of body or mind and related misconduct provided under the Police Service Act or regulation. Now, relatedly, Parliament should expedite actions on the enactment of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers Bill to address professional dilemmas that may lead to conflict of interest. Additionally, safeguarding the sanctity of the election security management, the IGP, as a head of the National Election Security Task Force, should ensure transparency in the deployment of security personnel engaged in election security management operations, and which such personnel are found to have acted unprofessionally in the discharge of their duties, including in violent intimidation or of a voter. They should be held accountable by the GPS, the Ghana Police Service, or the appropriate external accountable authority or body. In order to promote professional and adherence to good practice, the Police Council and or POMA should put in place a program of continuous professional training of police personnel at all levels regarding the legal policy and normative framework for regulating professional ethical policing, as well as professional dilemmas associated with the conflict of interest. In this connection, it is worthwhile for the GPS to collaborate with the key stakeholders, particularly the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, the offices of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, and related civil society actors to achieve the objective. Urgent steps should be taken by the Police Council towards establishment of an independent police complaints commission modeled on global good or best practices pertaining in jurisdictions such as South Africa, England and Wales, Northern Ireland, Canada, Malaysia, etc., to replace the existing Police Professional Standards Bureau. Well, if they could introduce what is happening here in the UK to that to Ghana, I think that would be a good one. What do you think? Well. At least the committee exonerated the IGP. I thought they would be so partisan that they cannot see even their nose from their faces. Well, but it didn't happen that way. So kudos to them as well. I seem to have lots of stories today that are making good move. Well, the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, says Ghanaians have already abandoned the NPP and its followers. Hence, it will be better for them to start preparing to hand over. The truth is, Ghanaians have already abandoned the NPP and their followers. Therefore, the NPP ministers, the wisest thing to do now is to start preparing your handing over notes, he said at a press conference yesterday. On Monday, my apologies. Now, meanwhile, the NDC has again opposed the Electoral Commission's decision not to use indelible ink as part of voter identification in the 2024 general election. Why not? The Electoral Commission says the indelible ink will not be used in the 2024 general election. So if somebody comes to vote, how would you verify that the person has voted? According to the Commission, it is replacing the ink with biometric authentication system, which will serve the same purpose as the ink by disallowing any persons from engaging in double voting. Is the system robust, or are the systems robust enough to actually show forth that? Well, however, highlighting the importance of the ink during Monday's presser, I said Nketia urged EC to reconsider its decision. Well, if you put that on, I mean, what is it for? But when it comes to politics in Africa, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, we got about another 60 minutes to go. But in other stories making the rounds, Ecuador declares war on gangs after TV attack. US and UK repel largest Houthi attack in Red Sea. And then the fifth and final batch of Epstein's documents have been released. And China is saying to the US, you know what? No negotiation, no whatever when it comes to Taiwan. It is ours and we are coming for it. So if you are a Taiwanese this morning, what do you think? Gani Olayide says, good afternoon, the best radio station, Starr Radio UK. Gani, I hope you are doing very, very well. And thank you very much for joining us as well. Okay, so now let's take a quick commercial break. And once we come back, we'll be bringing the latter part of the program before I take you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time, the first for the year 2024.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. My producer is giving me some instructions and I need to adhere to it because I don't want trouble from him, you know. If he decides to give me trouble, that is a big one. So I don't like trouble. Abi, do I like trouble? Ah, okay. Yes, I've seen it, my boss. Yes, I've seen it. Thank you. He looks at all the details, and that is very, very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Guy. All right, then. Now, let's move on straight. Let me go here to also correct that one as well. My apologies there. Before we go to Ecuador, because it's all happening there. Yesterday, I did talk about that. And, it ended up resulting into where people were now being pursued in the studio. So, like, I'm here in the Star Studio bringing you this program, and we have, gangs coming into the studio. I mean, pursuing people from there. That is quite a big one, isn't it? Okay. So, what is happening in Ecuador today? Well, Ecuador has declared wars on gangs. Ecuador's president has ordered that criminal gangs be neutralized after days of violence culminated in an attack on a television studio. Masked gunmen broke into public television channel TC, a live studio, during the broadcast, forcing staff to the floor. Now, police made 13 arrests following the attack, which injured 2 employees. At least 10 people have been killed since a 60-day state of emergency began in Ecuador on Monday. The emergency was declared after a notorious gangster vanished from his prison cell. It is unclear whether the incident at the TV studio in Guayaquil was related to the disappearance from a prison in the same city of the boss of the Choneros gang, Adolfo Macias Vilema or Fito, as he is better known. Now, President Naboa said on Tuesday that an internal armed conflict now existed in the country, and he was mobilizing the armed forces to carry out military operations to neutralize what he called transitional organized crime, terrorist organizations, and belligerent non-state actors. In neighboring Peru, the government ordered the immediate deployment of a police force to the border to prevent any instability spilling over into the country. The U.S. has said it condemns the brazen attacks in Ecuador and is coordinating closely with President Daniel Noboa and his Ecuadorian government, and stands ready to provide assistance. Ecuador is one of the world's top banana exporters, but also exports oil, coffee, cocoa, shrimps, fish products. A surge in violence in the Andean nation, inside and outside its prison, has been linked to fighting between drug cartels, both foreign and local, over control of cocaine routes to the U.S. and Europe. Oh my goodness. Well, these are the daredevils, and they do what they want. Oh well. In another quest, UK and US naval forces have repelled the largest attack yet by Yemen's Houthi rebels on shipping in the Red Sea. In the UK's defense, the UK Defense Secretary has said the Iran-backed group launched at least 21 drones and missiles overnight, according to the US military. They were shot down by carrier-based jets and 4 warships. It added no injuries or damages were reported. The Houthis have not commented, but they have targeted vessels in response to the war in Gaza Strip. They have claimed, often falsely, that the ships were linked to Israel. The U.S. military Central Command said on Tuesday attacks was the 26th since 19th of November. That's 2023, at around 21:15 local time, that is 18:15 GMT. Iranian-designed one-way attack drones, anti-ship cruise missiles, and anti-ship ballistic missiles were launched from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen towards the international shipping lanes in the southern Red Sea, it added. Now, 18 drones, 2 cruise missiles, and 1 ballistic missile were shot down by FA-18 warplanes from the aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, which is deployed by the Red Sea, and by 4 destroyers, the U.S. Gravely, USS Laboon, USS Masoon, and HMS Diamond. Now, HMS Diamond shot down 7 Houthi drones using its Sea Viper missiles and guns. A British defense soldier also said each of the missiles cost more than $1 million. So you see pounds. You see how much they are troubling us. Anytime even they shoot at them, it's costing us money. It's costing us money. Yeah. Okay, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. Now we're going to be coming to the UK front to look at some of the other stories making the round. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. And I think I've got a couple more stories there. Well, is Taiwan part of China? Or is China trying to get all the, like Russia is doing now, trying to get all these old USSR countries back on board to say that, yeah, we all belong together and we all have to do things together? What do you think about that? Well. And if so, then what about the Falkland Islands down there? Has Argentina got a right to say that we're also claiming that? And then if so, which other countries, what do you call that one? Djibouti. And various places. Okay. Now China has said it will never compromise on the issue of Taiwan in its first military talks with the US since 2021. It urged the US to stop arming Taiwan and take its concerns seriously. This comes just days ahead of pivotal elections in Taiwan, which could push the island further towards or away from Beijing. China claims Taiwan as part of its own territory, but the island sees itself as distinct from the Chinese mainland. Now, China expressed its willingness to develop healthy and stable military-to-military relations with the United States on the basis of equality and respect, said the Defense Ministry readout. It went on to say that the U.S. needed to take China's concerns seriously, adding that Beijing will not make any concession or compromise on the Taiwan question, and demand that the U.S. side honor the One China principle, relevant commitment, stop arming Taiwan, and not support Taiwan's independence. Taiwan is a key flashpoint in the tussle between China and the U.S. for the supremacy in Asia. In 2022, China refused to resume talks as a protest move after the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan in August 2022. The resumption early this week follows a deal struck by Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden during a meeting in November. The two-day talks concluded in Washington on Tuesday. And separately, Taiwan has said it does not consider the launch of a Chinese satellite over the island's southern airspace on Tuesday an act of election interference. Satellite launch on Tuesday afternoon prompted an island air raid alert. Mobile phones users across the self-ruled island receive a message warning them to be aware of their safety. Now, Taiwan's defense ministry later apologized for its inaccurate references to a missile in the alert sent to mobile phones after the national security team has analyzed the overall relevant information and taken into account the evaluation of the information of various international allies. Political attempts can be ruled out, said Lin Yu Chang, a spokesperson of the Taiwan's presidential office. But Chinese says no, never. We want it, we have it, it is ours. I bet you if they could actually pull that island into the mainland, they would have done that. But the US has also invested so much there, and I think they're also going to play ball. And that is the issue. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Rishi Sunak to face MPs as post office scandal is in the spotlight. As I did say, we're going to be bringing that. We're going to be taking you that in the moment. So now, 7 post office workers on South Asian heritage said they believe racism affected the way people were treated in the Horizon scandal. One of the workers who spoke yesterday said it felt like they thought that you were a foreigner and you robbed them. The Horizon scandal saw 700 postmasters prosecuted from 1999 to 2015, with some going to prison. The post office says it aims to get to the truth of what went wrong. A public inquiry began in February 2021 and resumed on Thursday after breaking for Christmas. While the scandal has been public knowledge for some time, an ITV drama, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, which aired last week, catapulted the issue back into the spotlight. The 7 people spoken to by BBC News Night program worked as sub-postmasters during the scandal and say they were accused of false accounting, theft, or fraud due to data from their faulty Horizon IT system. So the IT providers, the providers of that service, what are they going to be doing as well? Listeners, this is where I bring the first part of the program to a close, where I'm going to get you straight to the Houses of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time. Wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll be taking you to the Houses of Parliament. But it's been a pleasure coming your way, and let me say Have a lovely day. I'll be seeing you tomorrow dawn with Reverend Michael Esiama. But enjoy this tune whilst we get the grounds prepared for the Prime Minister's question time.
Yeah. It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet. And tell them, I'm writing names of properties. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of talkers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All of this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, get them when he comes.
Teacher will catch you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies.
So does the Prime Minister agree with me that the leader of the Lib Dems should take his own advice and start by clearing his desk, clear his diary and clear off?
Mr. Speaker, this is one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in our nation's history. People who worked hard to serve their communities had their lives and their reputations destroyed through absolutely no fault of their own. The victims must get justice and compensation. Sir Win Williams' inquiry is undertaking crucial work to expose what went wrong, and we've paid almost £150 million in compensation to over 2,500 victims. But today I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday? I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday? I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated. We will also introduce a new upfront payment of £75,000 for the vital GLO group of postmasters. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Thursday, I can announce that we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly actually believe in controlling migration, Mr. Speaker. Every single time he picks the people smugglers over the British people.
Mr. Speaker, we should smash the gangs, process the claims, and end hotel use. That's our plan. And unlike the Prime Minister, I believe in it. But
I'm going to hear the questions. I don't want interruptions, please. It's very important. It's a very important topic, and I take it seriously. I hope members also wish to start taking it seriously. Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, last year he started the year saying he was Mr. Steady. Then at his conference he was Mr. Change. Now he's flipped back to Mr. More of the same. Doesn't matter how many relaunches, flip-flops he does, he'll always be Mr. Nobody. And here's the tragedy of his leadership. He spends the whole time trying to convince people not to believe their own eyes, pretending that debt is falling, that the economy is going gangbusters, the NHS is in great shape. When he finally finds something he was right about, the Rwanda gimmick, he can't even take credit for it. When's he going to stop pretending that up is down, that black is white, admit that whether it's the economy, immigration, the NHS, he has failed?
Mr. Speaker, well, let's just go through his checklist. He talks about the backlog, 112,000 decisions made last year, a higher number than in any year in the past 2 decades, Mr. Speaker. He talked about hotels. Well, the first...
Admit that whether it's the economy, immigration, the NHS, he has failed.
They were down by... Mr. Speaker, well, let's just go through his checklist. He talks about the backlog, 112,000 decisions made last year, a higher number than in any year in the past 2 decades, Mr. Speaker. He talked about hotels. Well, the
the first to admit that whether it's the economy, immigration, the NHS, he has failed.
Well, they were down by... Mr. Speaker, well, let's just go through his checklist. He talks... And hundreds of people connected with that illegal trade who have been sentenced to hundreds of years in prison. He opposed that because he chooses the criminal gangs over the British people every time.
I don't think we are. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, we can all see what's happened here. Just like he knows that debt isn't falling and taxes are going up, he knows the Rwanda gimmick won't work. But he can't be honest about it because he's too scared of his own MPs. Doesn't he wish he'd stuck to his guns rather than to allow himself to be taken hostage by his own party?
Mr. Speaker, we're debating this because we have taken a stand and we're delivering the toughest migration plan ever to end the legal challenges and actually get flights off the ground. And let's be clear about this. He doesn't have a single practical idea about how to stop the boats. But that's because he doesn't actually care about controlling migration. This is a person who described all immigration law as racist, Mr. Speaker. He thinks limits on economic migration are, in his words, economic vandalism. It didn't even feature once in his 5 missions, and he didn't mention it once in his conference speech. The truth is, he's pro-free movement, he's anti-border control, and he can never be trusted to stop the boat.
I think we should smash the gangs. And I spent 5 years of my life doing exactly... This is the party that's lost control of the borders. And whilst he's tending to the Tory party, the country is left without government. Yes. A collapse in dentistry, leaving people literally pulling out their own teeth. Flood defences completely exposed. Hundreds of thousands of children still out of school. His government appears blissfully uninterested in what's going on outside the walls of Westminster. Does he realise how ludicrous it looks when he spends his time boasting whilst Britain is breaking?
Mr. Speaker, I'm glad he brought up our schools, because there's nothing more important than ensuring our children get a world-class education, and that's why I'm pleased that in spite of Labour opposing every reform that we made, our children are now the best readers in the Western world, Mr. Speaker. But he's right that attendance is important, and that's why we're investing millions of pounds more to provide support for absent pupils. We launched a national campaign, and just this week we've doubled the number of attendance hubs to support over 1,000 at the most vulnerable schools. But I am surprised to hear him raise that topic, because from longer lockdowns or voting against our minimum service laws, his priority has always been keeping our children out of school, Mr. Speaker. It's always the same with him. There's no plan. It's just peddling one thing to his union friends and another thing to the British people.
New year, new nonsense. Every week he stands here and tells the country they should be thanking him, not questioning him. Point out that the view on the ground is very different to that from his private jet, and he says you're talking the country down. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't get what a cost of living crisis feels like. He doesn't know any schools where kids no longer turn up. And he doesn't understand what it's like to wait for a hospital appointment. Doesn't the country deserve so much better than a Prime Minister who simply doesn't get Britain?
Mr. Speaker, well, from the last week we had, I say, yet another half-hour speech from the Honourable Gentleman, and what a surprise, yet again, it didn't contain a single new idea. We've had 4 years of him as Labour leader, and it's still all slogan, no plan, Mr. Speaker. Now, just this weekend, Mr. Speaker, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our plan to cut people's taxes, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our...
From Grenfell or Hillsborough. The reality is that when the public come knocking on the doors of this here chamber...
We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our...
From Grenfell or Hillsborough. The reality is that when the public come knocking on the doors of this here chamber...
We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our...
From Grenfell or Hillsborough. The reality is that when the public come knocking on the doors of this here chamber...
We've got a plan to stop the boats. He doesn't have a plan. And we've got a plan to get people off welfare and into work. He doesn't have a single idea. It's crystal clear, Mr. Speaker. Stick with us to deliver the long-term change that the country needs. Don't go back to square one with him. Just this weekend, we're delivering on our...
From Grenfell or Hillsborough. The reality is that when the public come knocking on the doors of this here chamber...
Draft Schools Guidance to support gender questioning children has now been published just before Christmas, and it's out to public consultation. But when we've all seen many individual people very publicly cancelled, lost their jobs, their reputation, their relationships, for simply supporting biological reality or championing fairness, women's safety, child protection, Can I ask my right honourable friend, how will honest and open engagement be managed through this very important and sensitive consultation process?
Can I thank my honourable friend for her important question and assure her that she's right about the safety and well-being of children being paramount in our thoughts, and that is at the heart of the guidance that we have published for consultation. But also, Mr. Speaker, parents fundamentally must be involved in decisions about their children's lives, and their involvement is a key part of this guidance. She's right to say there's a consultation process. That is an opportunity for everyone to engage with this guidance, and she's also right to say, and I agree with her, that those championing safety or indeed talking about the importance of biological sex should absolutely have the freedom to express those views, and she will see those views expressed in the guidance too.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Prime Minister for the £3.3 billion financial package which is now available to any restored Northern Ireland executive. However, we still need a discussion around the long-term financial framework before the next spending review. At present, Northern Ireland is seeing its public services in huge crisis, especially health, and there are urgent public sector pay pressures which must be addressed. Last month, the Secretary of State said that the negotiations with the DUP over the Windsor Framework have concluded. Does the Prime Minister recognise the real dangers of continued drift in Northern Ireland and the urgent need for Northern Ireland to have a government?
Can I thank the honourable gentleman for his question? Our focus has always been on delivering for the people of Northern Ireland, who rightly expect and deserve their locally elected decision makers to address the issues that matter to them. We have held talks with the DUP and believe that significant progress has been made and that there is now a very good basis for the executive to be restored. I thank him for his comments about the £3 billion financial package, and with that there is a real chance to restore the executive, resolve pay for public sector workers rapidly, and get Northern Ireland and its public services moving again.
James Grundy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Atherley Way bypass in Lee was first proposed over 60 years ago, but to this day remains unfinished. I recently met with representatives of Wigan, Warrington and St Helens Council, as well as the Mayor of Greater Manchester, and I'm pleased to say an agreement in principle has been reached to bring forward proposals to complete the bypass. Would the Prime Minister also like to throw his support behind this vital project for my constituents in Lee?
Well, can I commend my honourable friend for all his work bringing local authorities and the Mayor together to drive this important project forward. I know that my honourable friend, the Rail Minister, is meeting with my honourable friend to discuss this proposal and ensure that we can deliver things like this. And as part of Network North, there will be significant new funding announced for local highway improvements. And I would encourage my honourable friend to work with stakeholders to progress this important scheme and ensure that they can bid for that funding when it becomes available.
Alex Norris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Prime Minister very simply, for the public record, whether he personally met Mr. Akhil Tripathi in April last year, prior to Mr. Tripathi giving him £38,000 for the hire of a private jet?
Mr. Speaker, all my declarations are made in the usual way, according to the usual processes.
Whip's question. Thank you.
The Prime Minister knows that I set up and chair the caucus of 35 Conservative members of Parliament who have Britain's longest river flowing through their constituencies, the River Severn. We've submitted a business case to the Chancellor for £500 million to finally tame the River Severn, and I know that his officials are currently looking at those proposals. To tame the River Severn will lead to a GVA uplift in the West Midlands of over £150 billion. The Prime Minister has seen this week the horrendous damage and misery caused in Shropshire and all the way along the River Severn of this river flooding yet again. We really do need to see now in this spring budget further assistance for communities like mine to finally deal with these annual floods.
Can I start by saying that my thoughts are with all those affected by the devastating impact of Storm Henk and the flooding we've seen over the past week or two, including those in my honourable friend's constituency. Action is already being undertaken under our 6-year, £5.2 billion investment programme to better protect land across the River Severn catchment area and elsewhere. But I know that the Flooding Minister met my honourable friend along with the Environment Agency in his constituency just before Christmas to discuss the specific plans he mentions. I know the Chancellor has received and has started reviewing it. I can assure him that the Environment Agency is working closely with other partners to explore his plans in more detail further.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since the outbreak of war in Gaza, over 23,000 Palestinians have been killed, including 10,000 children, and forced displacement is causing a humanitarian catastrophe. There's intensifying fighting between Hezbollah and Israel, a crisis in shipping security in the Red Sea, and the engulfing of neighboring countries into a regional conflict. De-escalation will only occur when hostilities cease in Gaza. The Foreign Secretary yesterday said he was worried Israel may have broken international law, and the International Court of Justice is opening hearings in The Hague this week in relation to suspected breaches of obligations under the Geneva Convention. Will the Prime Minister make public legal advice our government requested and received on suspected breaches of international law by Israel and the implications for UK policy, including relevant arms exports?
Well, Mr. Speaker, we continue to call for international humanitarian law to be respected and civilians to be protected, and that is what our current legal assessments say is happening. And as the Foreign Secretary outlined yesterday, that Israel plans to act within international humanitarian law and has the ability to do so. But we are also deeply concerned about the impact on civilian population in Gaza. That's why we've trebled the amount of aid that we provide to the region. And just recently, we sent our first maritime shipment of aid to Egypt. A UK military ship delivered over 80 tons of new blankets and life-saving medical equipment for Gaza. And we are working with Jordan to find more land routes. We will continue to do everything we can to support the vulnerable people who are being impacted by what's happening on the ground.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Stop your ears. In my constituency, the new Hillingdon Hospital has full planning permission, has full funding, and enabling works is well underway. Would my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, agree with me that this new state-of-the-art hospital will uplift the health benefits for the residents of Uxbridge and South Ruislip? And will he join me in visiting the project site at a time where his diary allows?
My honourable friend has been a fantastic campaigner for the new Hillingdon Hospital, and I agree with him that it will provide fantastic care to him and his constituents as well. And I'm pleased that planning permission and funding has now been granted for the site and work is progressing. I will look at my diary, but in the meantime I can tell him that my honourable friend, the Health Secretary, will be very happy to come and visit my honourable friend's project and see the significant progress for herself.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last year, my constituents had to wait months for an election to finally be confirmed, with uncertainty repeatedly prolonged, seemingly out of self-interest. Now this year, out of all people, I didn't expect the Prime Minister to be turning to my predecessor for strategic inspiration. If we're going to be waiting, I hope we can work together for a group in my constituency that really deserve support. Will the Prime Minister meet with some fantastic kinship carers in mid-Bedfordshire to talk through how we can progress the strategy, make it go further, faster, and crucially, why Bedfordshire might be a fantastic place for one of the proposed pilot areas?
Mr. Speaker, can I pay tribute to all kinship carers for the incredible work they do. I'll be very happy to review the plans of the honourable gentleman mentioned and make sure that ministers have a look at them too. And as I said, pay tribute to all of those in his constituency and elsewhere. They're doing a terrific job, and in government, as he knows, we're looking at ways we can support them further, and we'll continue to do that.
Deborah Miller.
The Prime Minister knows that in Basingstoke we also need a new hospital, and that's why he's given £900 million for our hospital trust to make that happen. Does my right honourable friend agree that this is a once-in-a-lifetime investment and must modernise not just the NHS healthcare that's provided, but also support his plan to double medical training places by 2031? And we're also ready to build our hospital a bit quicker if that helps.
Mr. Speaker, I am pleased that through our new hospitals programme, Hampshire's Hospital Trust, the NHS Foundation, will receive significant investment to ensure that excellent care is available for her and all her constituents. I think the Trust started their consultation last year and the results are due at the end of March, and we'll look forward to making sure that we can deliver this project as quickly as possible as part of the record capital investment in the NHS to deliver faster, better care to patients everywhere.
Happy New Year, Mr. Speaker.
Happy New Year.
Reports suggest that the Prime Minister's family investment company, Catamaran Ventures, is being wound up and that his wife's is exiting her interests in her childcare company, Koru Kids. So will the Prime Minister keep his promise to the Liaison Committee, which includes a number of Conservative MPs, and confirm whether or not he has forgotten to register any of his financial interests? And will he publish all details of Catamaran Ventures investments?
Mr. Speaker, I take very seriously my responsibilities to register and declare all of my relevant interests. All of them have been declared in accordance with the Ministerial Code, and it is the role of the independent advisor to advise on what is necessary to publish within that list, including in the case of ministers' family members, and when specific questions are asked in things like liaison committee, as I have been in dialogue with the committee, declarations are made on top of that, which I have made, and as I made from the dispatch box, my wife has been an investor in British companies over the past years, but that is now something that she has ceased to do further going forward.
And a third.
Speaker, a new, very large shellfish beds have been discovered in the Thames estuary, including razor clams and manila clams, both highly prized around the world. So will my right honourable friend join me in congratulating local fisherman, Mr Paul Gilson, on his proactive work? And will he come to Leigh-on-Sea, meet my local fishermen, so we can discuss how to maximise this brilliant Brexit bonus for Essex fishermen?
Well, can I join my honourable friend in welcoming this fantastic discovery? We have been capitalising on the benefits of Brexit since we left the EU, and we're making sure that we can transform opportunity in the UK, particularly in fishing communities. I know my honourable friend, the Minister for Farming and Fishing, would be happy to meet with her to discuss what more this could mean, and I hope I also have an opportunity to come and see her and see this incredible discovery for myself too.
Hamilton.
I was a nurse in our NHS for 25 years. It is an offence to my colleagues and our patients when the Prime Minister pretends he's got a grip on NHS waiting times. Despite his big pledge to cut them, they've risen by 500,000 in the last year alone. He can blame striking all he likes, but after 14 years of Tories, who can possibly say that NHS is better off?
Mr. Speaker, can I thank the honourable lady for her decades of service in the NHS and commend all the work of our fantastic hard-working nurses in the NHS, and I'm pleased that we've delivered early on our manifesto pledge to have 50,000 more nurses in the NHS, together with record numbers of doctors, elective surgical hubs, community diagnostic centres, all of which means that we are now treating more people in the NHS than we have ever done before. One thing that is hampering progress on tackling the waiting list is obviously industrial action, so I hope that the honourable lady can join with the million NHS workers, including nurses, midwives, therapists, paramedics, consultants and specialty doctors, all of whom have reached a fair and reasonable pay settlement with the government, and urge the junior doctors to do the same.
Andrew Percy.
Mr. Speaker, I believe that not all Jewish people are bad. Palestinians are dying whilst the Zionists are laughing their lives away. How do you send letters believing the Western media on how Hamas is a terrorist group? For all I know, the only terrorist group is the Zionists. Not my words, words produced by pupils as young as 11 in schools in this country, one of whom signed off their letter saying they sought vengeance. That word was, however, crossed out. In another school in the northwest of England, pro-Palestinian activists were invited in to educate pupils on the history of Palestine and displayed slides to their students which denied the existence of the state of Israel. And in other schools, we know they have allowed absences for people to attend protests, where there have been, of course, many examples of anti-Semitism. This is completely unacceptable. Can I ask the Prime Minister to look at what is going on in our schools and to hold an independent review on how we can do more on our curriculum to educate about the perils of anti-Semitism.
Can I thank my honourable friend for raising what is a deeply concerning issue? And as I've said before, there is no place for anti-Semitism or glorification of terrorism in Britain, especially in our classrooms. And that's why we welcome the recent report from Lord Mann, the government's independent advisor on anti-Semitism, and in particular, his recommendation on how schools can tackle anti-Semitism. We will continue to work together with Lord Mann on this vital issue, and I look forward to hearing further suggestions from my honourable friend too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. When my best friend and constituent, Dr. Laura Williams, lost her husband suddenly at 35, she was left alone with 3 children under the age of 5. Nothing could have prepared her for that grief and loss. And I have witnessed firsthand what a remarkable job she has done to carry on and stay afloat. But, Mr. Speaker, it's been made much harder by the fact that bereavement support payments have been cut to just 18 months, an allowance that is primarily for children who lose a parent. So will the Prime Minister be kind enough to meet with Dr. Laura and me to hear firsthand her experience of losing her husband and see what can be done for those like her who are bereaved with young children to support?
I'm very sorry to hear about the honourable lady's constituent and her tragic loss, and I'd be very happy to meet with her at the earliest opportunity.
Dame Jackie Doyle-Price, and congratulations.
Passengers have been crossing the Thames between Tilbury and Gravesend in my constituency since 1307, but the current ferry service is currently under threat due to withdrawal of local authority funding. With so many people using that ferry service to come to work in Tilbury docks and the incumbent expansion of the Thames Freeport, would my right honourable friend encourage the local authorities to do all they can to make sure that we take full advantage of the opportunities by a new contract for this service, and perhaps looking to expand that as a way of getting more people to work in the new jobs being created?
Well, my honourable friend is right to highlight that the Tilbury to Gravesend ferry service does form an important part of the local transport services provided by local authorities. Obviously, those funding decisions are for the councils required, but I would encourage them to consider the importance of cross-river transport as highlighted by my honourable friend in her local community, and do that as part of their upcoming local transport planning.
Do you see MacDonald?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Has the Prime Minister seen the utterly damning new UNICEF report showing child income poverty rose way faster